Hi there, and welcome to the Picket Studios YouTube channel. My name is Terry, and today I will be sharing a fun shaker card that I created using some products from the most recent release. So let's get started. Okay, so to start off my card, I am using an oldie but a goodie. I love this stamp set because the penguins are so adorable. This one is called Penguins Wanna Have Fun. And I'm going in and I'm stamping that down with our black ink on an alcohol-friendly cardstock. I did went ahead and stamp this down twice just to make sure I got a clear impression. And once that was all stamped out, it's time for Copic marker coloring. And like always, I will go ahead and leave a timestamp down below. So if you're not interested in the coloring part, you can go ahead and forward it to that time. But if you are, I hope you sit back and enjoy. And the coloring for these penguins are pretty simple because the penguin's already black and white. All I'm doing is adding a little bit of accent colors. Okay, so I'll see you guys in a little bit. Okay, so I am back, and like I said, the coloring was super simple. You can pretty much use any coloring medium here. It will look beautiful. So now going in with the coordinating dies, I am going to tape it down onto the card panel and run it through my die cutting machine. I am using an electric die cutting machine, but you can pretty much use any machine that you have on hand. So here's a close-up look at all of the cute little penguins. I just love this one here in the little tutu, so adorable. So now I am going to put the colored image off to the side, and I'm going in with this 5x7 double stitch layering rectangle die. And I have been really enjoying making 5x7 cards lately. I'm not sure, there's just more space to work with, and I love that. And if you're not familiar, we do offer another 5x7 double stitch layering rectangle die in the shop, and this set cuts out the rectangle frames. It does come with 2 rectangle frames, but I seem to have misplaced the larger set. I think the 2 set really complements each other. It's nice to have in your stash. Okay, so going in with the double stitch layering rectangle die, I went in with the second to largest frame and ran that through my die cutting machine on a craft colored cardstock. Okay, so now it's time to ink blend our stencil. So the stencil that I'm using today, this one is called Slim Line Falling Snowflake Stencil, and I'm using my life-changing blender brushes, and I'm blending a brown shade of ink onto the craft colored cardstock. I then went ahead and removed the stencil. Then going in with the same color ink, I'm roughly blending around the edges of the cardstock. This is to create a little more drama around the card scene. And to add a little more interest to the background scene, I went ahead and splattered white paint all over the scene. Okay, so to create our shaker area, I'm going in with a basic circle die here, and I'm using that to die cut out of the card panel that we just created. Here you can see the two pieces together. You can use pretty much any circle die that you have on hand. Okay, so don't throw the circle piece away. We will be using that later. Okay, so now I'm using double-sided adhesive and I'm applying that on the back of the card panel. And off screen, I went ahead and trimmed down our clear acetate sheets to create the shaker window. I am going in with the same double-sided tape and I'm applying that to all 4 sides of the acetate sheet, removing the backing on only 3 sides and leaving 1 side open. This creates the opening of the pocket, so we will be pouring our sequins into this pocket. So here are 3 of the sequins that just came out in this release, and I love each one of this, but I decided to go with the all about the green sequins. So I went ahead and poured that into my shaker pocket. And once I was satisfied with the amount, I went ahead and removed the backing of the double-sided tape. And look, so simple. Okay, so now it's time to assemble the card together. So here I'm just going in with the penguins and I'm just trying to figure out the layout of my card design. And once I was happy with the layout, I went ahead and adhered the penguins down with liquid adhesive. Then I went ahead and removed the double-sided tape on the panel and adhered that over the penguins. Then using my scissors, I went ahead and snipped off the excess. Okay, so for the second background, I am using the same stencil, but this one is in the size 6x6. And I find that the 6x6 is perfect for the 5x7 card panel because you can work on one half and just shift it up to the second half. Okay, so after I blended that panel, I went ahead and applied foam strip on the back of our first panel and adhered that onto the green panel. I also went ahead and adhered the circle to the green panel as well. Now for the sentiment, I'm going in with the Joy word die, and I die cut that out of colored cardstock. I did also went ahead and die cut it out of white cardstock a few times and decided to layer that on one another. But before doing so, I went in with the same brown ink and blended that on the bottom half of the sentiment just to create a little bit of drama. Here I'm using liquid adhesive to adhere the layers together. This creates a nice dimension onto the card front. And I went ahead and adhered that onto our card panel. Okay, so for the secondary sentiment, I am going in with a second stamp set. This one is called A Polar Bear's Winter Celebration. And I like the sentiment on this stamp set, but I only needed part of the sentiment. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to mask off the other half of the sentiment. So going in with masking paper, I masked that area off, and I'm using a white pigment ink to stamp off the sentiment onto black cardstock. You could trim this down with scissors if you like, but I like to keep all of my stamps intact. So I went ahead and stamped that down onto black cardstock and applied white embossing powder over that and heat set that off screen. Now going in with the coordinating dies, I will be die cutting that out with my die cutting machine. So since I'm only using part of the sentiment stamp here, I'm going to use my scissors and fussy cut the bottom part of the stamped sentiment out. Then I went ahead and adhered it to the front of the card panel. And that completes the card. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and please don't forget to thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.